So take me through the first track that inspired the rest of this song.
So the first track that inspired the song is the bass pulse patch that I've created that runs through the verse for most of the song. There's 3 other basses here, so we'll dive into all 3 of those components and talk about how they interact with one another. Throughout the track, I'm layering 3 different bass sounds together. The core element of the entire song is kind of based around the pulsating bass that kind of has like a sidechain effect. So I designed this sound from scratch. I would say the main part of the sound is more so that Virgo. If I get rid of the rest of it, that's our saw. And I added that in there because it added a girth and a growl that I felt like you get with a lot of bass guitars, and I was kind of trying to emulate that. That one added like the growl and just the sort of upper frequency content that I was looking for.
The G envelope, you're using the G envelope to give it that pumping sound, right?
Yeah. So some guys will, they'll side chain it to the kick drum. I wanted it to be more than just the volume. I wanted it to also kind of change the frequencies as well. It just contributed to like sort of the swelly sort of sound that it had. So that's why I rolled with the G envelope and just kind of did it manually with that. Using the G envelope, I have 2 different modulators. So we've got filter 1 envelope. I've got that just going, from -1 to +1. Same thing for the volume for the entire preset. Just to kind of paint a picture of what I'm doing with the G envelope here, I'm gonna go ahead and actually just turn down the sentence to both of those. So that is our starting sound.
Wow.
And then using the G envelope, we're using this. Sort of give it that effect.
Very cool. So you're using it on the filter envelope and you're using it on the volume all of the synth to give it that sidechain pumping effect.
Correct.
Very unique. That's cool.
The bass pluck is going to be the next like kind of primary part of the song, in the chorus at least. For this particular bass sound, I was trying to emulate the sound of a Prophet synth. Mm-hmm. So I did that with the Prophet saw here. We are blending that with a Prophet square. And I also added an additional Prophet saw, which isn't something you can do with the hardware, but I just felt like it made it sound that much fatter, and because I can, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes it so easy to layer all these oscillators together.
So when you click up here where it says waveform, it opens up a menu here, and you can pretty much go through and find whatever you want. There are some different views here as well. And, there's the factory stuff that comes from Sonic Academy. Under DLC, we have the Slate Digital content. And there are tons and tons of wavetables in here to choose from. Some pretty awesome analog stuff. There's, Jupiter 8, Juno. And then for this particular bass sound, we're using the Prophet sound.
Awesome.
Now, the only other thing that I did a little differently with this one was I did layer in a Juno noise sample from within the factory noise folder here. Mm-hmm. And I did that because a lot of those vintage synthesizers, they have noise inherent to them. But the other reason is because, and this patch I may not have dialed in too much of it, but when you dial in a little bit of that noise with something like a bass sound, it makes it sound a little bit less dry. It adds a little bit more attack and bite to it. So let's listen to it with and without. So this is with. Just for context, this is what we're listening to. Just gives it that little bit of extra bite so that it can kind of cut through, the denseness of the mix.
Incredible. That's a great trick, using a little bit of that noise just to cut through the mix.
So for this particular sound, I was kind of going after like a mini Moog kind of sound. So I'm layering 2 saws. I've got them slightly detuned. Now, the big thing with the sort of owl sound that it has, what we're doing with that is all with the filter. So we've got the resonance, got the cutoff super low, and then I actually had some macros set up for this particular preset. So we've got the filter envelope up pretty high here. So if we turn that down,
Very nice, and you're getting a nice squelchy sound with that. It sounds really cool. So you're using the filter envelope, and you have it tied to a macro, but you're essentially using that macro to turn up the filter envelope to give it that kind of falling resonant sound, right?
yeah.
So those are the 3 basses in this track, and the basses really stand out. They're, that's a huge part of analog sound, is getting those nice fat basses. You were able to do it here with Anna 2.
This course is available in the Slate Digital All Access Pass, which gives you thousands of dollars worth of award-winning plugins, the industry's most game-changing synthesizer, Anna 2, and the very best masterclass production courses taught by the industry's biggest pros, all for $14.99 per month.